This video is your turning point. Watch carefully, it's time to unlock the power within. Right now, as you're watching, everything is about to change. Picture waking up tomorrow with a whole new mindset. No doubts, no hesitation, just pure, relentless focus. It all starts right here. Tonight, while others sleep, you're reprogramming your mind at the deepest level. Tomorrow, you'll wake up stronger, more confident, and with a drive that will push you forward. There's one word that will change everything. One key to unlocking your true potential. When you hear it, your life will never be the same. This is your moment. Are you ready for the shift?
More familiar, right? Here's what's really happening. Every time you resist the pull of your old emotional addiction and stick with your new self-talk, you're strengthening new neural pathways. You're literally building a new brain. The discomfort you feel is temporary. It's the labor pain of your new self being born. Watch for the signs of transformation. They might be subtle at first. You might notice you're sleeping better. Your energy might shift. You might find yourself spontaneously sitting straighter, breathing deeper. These are signs that your new self-talk is taking root at a biological level. The wall of doubt you'll hit around day 2 isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign you're breaking through. This is when your body's emotional addiction is fighting hardest. This is when you might feel tired, irritable, even want to quit. Push through. This resistance is your old identity dying and your new identity being born. You'll know transformation is happening when you start catching your negative self-talk faster, when you find yourself automatically redirecting to positive, empowering self-talk without conscious effort. This is your new neural pathways getting stronger. This is your new programming taking hold. Remember, discomfort is temporary, but transformation is permanent. Every time you feel resistance and choose your new self-talk anyway, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're changing your brain's physical structure. You're literally becoming a different person at the cellular level. The key is to stay committed, especially when it feels hardest. When every fiber of your being wants to go back to old patterns, that's when you're on the verge of breakthrough. That's when transformation is closest. Don't let temporary discomfort rob you of permanent change. This isn't about feeling good all the time. It's about staying committed to your new self-talk even when you don't feel good. That's what creates lasting change. That's what builds permanent new neural pathways. That's what transforms your biology forever. When you transform your self-talk, you're not just changing yourself. You're changing the entire field of possibilities around you. This isn't just personal development. It's quantum transformation that affects every aspect of your life and everyone around you. Watch what happens in your relationships. When you speak to yourself differently, you show up differently. People will begin to respond to you in new ways. They'll sense the shift in your energy before you even speak. Your presence alone will begin to influence rooms you walk into. This isn't magic, it's the power of coherent energy affecting your quantum field. In your professional life, opportunities will begin to appear that weren't there before. Not because the world changed, but because your new self-talk has attuned you to possibilities you were blind to before. You'll find yourself making decisions with more clarity, speaking with more authority, leading with more confidence. Your new internal dialogue creates new external realities. Your health will begin to shift too. When you change your self-talk, you change your stress response. Your immune system strengthens, your sleep deepens, your digestion improves. People often report that chronic conditions they've struggled with for years begin to shift. This isn't coincidence. It's the power of your new biology expressing itself. Through quantum entanglement, your transformation affects the field of infinite possibilities around you. Every thought you think, every word you speak to yourself sends ripples through the quantum field. You become a broadcast antenna, transmitting new frequencies that attract corresponding experiences and opportunities. You'll start noticing synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that seem to support your new way of being. The right people will show up. The right opportunities will appear. Doors will open that you didn't even know existed. This isn't luck, it's quantum mechanics in action. You're literally tuning yourself to a new frequency of possibility. Your new self-talk isn't just changing your mind. It's changing the very fabric of your reality. You're no longer the same person who started this process. Your DNA is expressing itself differently. Your energy field is vibrating differently. You're becoming someone who naturally attracts different experiences. This is why this work is so crucial. You're not just changing your life, you're changing the field of possibilities for everyone around you. Your transformation becomes a catalyst for others. Your new way of being creates a template that makes it easier for others to transform too. This is how real change happens in the world. One person's transformed self-talk at a time. Right now, in this moment, you stand at the threshold of transformation. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Every moment you wait is a moment you're reinforcing your old patterns. Every second you delay is a second you're choosing your old self over your new possibilities. Tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, you have a choice to make. Will you fall back into your old patterns of self-talk, or will you begin the most important conversation of your life? The one that will literally reshape your brain, rewrite your biology, and reconstruct your reality. Here's exactly what you'll do. The moment you wake up, before your feet touch the floor, place your hand on your heart. Feel its rhythm. Take 3 deep breaths and begin your new dialogue with yourself. These words, with every ounce of conviction you possess. Today I step into my new reality. Today my thoughts create my new future. Today I become the person I know I can be. Don't just say these words, feel them in every cell of your body. Let them vibrate through your being. Let them shake loose everything that no longer serves you. Your old stories, your old limitations, your old self-talk, let them fall away like autumn leaves making way for new growth. The universe is waiting for you to make this decision. The quantum field is ready to respond to your new energy signature. Every cell in your body is poised to begin this transformation, but you must take the first step. You must begin this new conversation with yourself. Think about where you'll be 3 days from now. Think about who you'll be. Think about how different your world will look when you've rewired your brain with 3 days of intentional, powerful self-talk. Think about the ripple effects this will have in every area of your life. This isn't just about changing your thoughts. This is about changing your destiny. This is about stepping into the version of yourself that you've always known was possible. This is about becoming the person who naturally attracts success, health, love, and abundance. The time is now. Not after this session ends. Not after you've prepared more. Not after you feel ready. Now. Begin this new conversation with yourself now. Let this be the moment you look back on and say, that's when everything changed. That's when I began to create my new reality. Your new life is waiting. Your new self is calling. Your new reality is ready. All that's required is for you to begin this conversation with yourself right now. In this moment, let's begin.
People wake up in the morning, they begin to think about their problems. Those problems are circuits of memories in the brain. Each one of those memories are connected to people and things at certain times and places. And if the brain is a record of the past, the moment they start their day, they're already thinking in the past. Each one of those memories has an emotion. Emotions are the end product of past experiences. So the moment they recall those memories of their problems, they all of a sudden feel unhappy, they feel sad, they feel pain. Now, how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So the person's entire state of being when they start their day is in the past. So what does that mean? The familiar past will sooner or later be predictable future. So if you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, and you can't think greater than how you feel, or feelings have become the means of thinking, by very definition of emotions, you're thinking in the past. And for the most part, you're going to keep creating the same life. So then people grab their cell phone, they check their WhatsApp, they check their text, they check their emails, they check Facebook, they take a picture of their feet, they post it on Facebook, they tweet something, they do Instagram, they check the news, and now they feel really connected to everything that's known in their life. And then they go through a series of routine behaviors. They get out of bed on the same side, they go to the toilet, they get a cup of coffee, they take a shower, they get dressed, they drive to work the same way, they do the same things, they see the same people, they push the same emotional buttons, and that becomes the routine, and it becomes like a program. So now they've lost their free will to a program, and there's no unseen hand doing it to them. So when it comes time to change, the redundancy of that cycle becomes a subconscious program. So now 95% of who we are by the time we're 35 years old is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that function like a computer program. So then a person can say with their 5% of their conscious mind, I want to be healthy, I want to be happy, I want to be free. But the body's on a whole different program. So then how do you begin to make those changes? Well, you have to get beyond the analytical mind, because what separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind is the analytical mind. And that's where meditation comes in, because you can teach people through practice how to change their brainwaves, slow them down. And when they do that properly, they do enter the operating system where they can begin to make some really important changes. So most people then wait for crisis or trauma or disease or diagnosis. They wait for loss, some tragedy to make up their mind to change. And my message is, why wait? And you can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. And I think right now, the cool thing is that people are waking up. Most people spend 70% of their life living in survival and living in stress. So they're always anticipating the worst case scenario based on a past experience. And they're literally, out of the infinite potentials in the quantum field, they're selecting the worst possible outcome, and they're beginning to emotionally embrace it with fear. And they're conditioning their body into a state of fear. Do that enough times, the body has a panic attack without you. You can't even predict it because it's programmed subconsciously. So people become addicted to the rush of those emotions, and they use the problems and conditions in their life to reaffirm their limitation, so at least they can feel something. So now when it comes time to change, you say to the person, why are you this way? Well, every time they recall the event, they're producing the same chemistry in their brain and body as if the event is occurring, firing and wiring the same circuits and sending the same emotional signature to the body. Well, what's the relevance behind that? Well, your body is your unconscious mind. In a sense, if you're sitting down and you start thinking about some future worst-case scenario that you're conjuring up in your mind, and you begin to feel the emotion of that event, your body doesn't know the difference between the event that's taking place in your world, outer world, and what you're creating by emotion or thought alone. So most people then, they're constantly reaffirming their emotional states. So when it comes time to give up that emotion, they can say, I really want to do it. But really the body is stronger than the mind because it's been conditioned that way. So the servant now has become the master. And the person all of a sudden, once they step into that unknown, they'd rather feel guilt and suffering because at least they can predict it. Being in the unknown is a scary place for most people because the unknown is uncertain. And people say to me, well, I can't predict my future. I'm in the unknown, and I always say the best way to predict your future is to create it. Not from the known, but from the unknown. What thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain? What behaviors do you want to demonstrate in one day? The act of rehearsing them mentally, closing your eyes, and rehearsing the action.
The rehearsing the reaction of what you want? Or the action?
The action of what you want. By closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing some action. If you're truly present, the brain does not know the difference between what you're imaging and what you're experiencing in 3D world. So then you begin to install the neurological hardware in your brain to look like the event has already occurred. Now, your brain is no longer a record of the past. Now it's a map to the future. And if you keep doing it, priming it that way, the hardware becomes a software program. And who knows, you just may start acting like a happy person. And then I think the hardest part is to teach our body emotionally what the future will feel like ahead of the actual experience. So what does that mean? You can't wait for your success to feel empowered. You can't wait for your wealth to feel abundant. You can't wait for your new relationship to feel love, or your healing to feel whole. I mean, that's the old model of reality, of cause and effect, waiting for something outside of us to change how we feel inside of us. And when we feel better inside of us, we pay attention to whoever or whatever caused it. But what that means then is that from the Newtonian world is that most people spend their whole life living in lack, waiting for something to change out there.
What do you mean the Newtonian world?
The Newtonian world is all about the predictable. It's all about predicting the future. But the quantum model of reality is about causing an effect. The moment you start feeling abundant and worthy, you are generating wealth. The moment you're empowered and feel it, you're beginning to step towards your success. The moment you start feeling whole, your healing begins. And when you love yourself and you love all of life, you'll create an equal. And now you're causing an effect. And I think that's the difference between living as a victim in your world, saying, I am this way because of this person or that thing or this experience. They made me think and feel this way. When you switch that around, you become a creator of your world, and you start saying, my thinking and my feeling is changing an outcome in my life, and now that's a whole different game, and we start believing more that we're creators of reality. And most people, when they have a thought, they just think that that's the truth. And I think one of my greatest realizations in my own journey was, just because you have a thought doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So if you think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day, and we do, and 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before, and you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, your life's not going to change very much, because the same thought leads to the same choice leads to the same behavior creates the same experience, and the same experience produces the same emotion. And so then the act of becoming conscious of this process to begin to become more aware of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. It's called metacognition. And so then, why is that important? Because the more conscious you become of those unconscious states of mind and body, the less likely you're going to go unconscious during the day. And that thought is not going to slip by your awareness unchecked, because it means to know thyself. The word meditation means to become familiar with. So as you become familiar with the thoughts, the behaviors, and the emotions of the old self, you're retiring that old self. As you fire and wire new thoughts and condition the body into a new emotional state, if you do that enough times, it'll begin to become familiar to you. So it's so important, just like a garden. If you're planting a garden, you got to get rid of the weeds. You got to take the plants from the past year and you got to pull them out. The rocks that sift to the top that are like our emotional blocks, they have to be removed. The soil has to be tenderized and broken down. We have to make room to plant a new garden. So primarily, we learn the most about ourselves and others when we're uncomfortable. Because the moment you move into that uncomfortable state, normally a program jumps in. When that program jumps in, it's because the person doesn't want to be in the present moment and engage it consciously. If you're not being defined by a vision of the future, then you're left with the old memories of the past, and you will be predictable in your life. And if you wake up in the morning and you're not being defined by a vision in the future, as you see the same people and you go to the same places and you do the exact same thing at the exact same time, it's no longer that your personality is creating your personal reality. Now your personal reality is affecting or creating your personality. Your environment is really controlling how you think and feel unconsciously, because every person, everything, every place, every experience has a neurological network in your brain. Every experience that you have with every person produces an emotion. So some people will use their boss to reaffirm their addiction to judgment. They'll use their enemy to reaffirm their addiction to hatred. They'll use their friends to reaffirm their addiction to suffering. So now they need the outer world to feel something. So to change then is to be greater than your environment, to be greater than the conditions in your world. And the environment is that seductive. So then why is meditation the tool? Well, let's sit down, let's close our eyes. Let's disconnect from your outer environment. So if you're seeing less things, there's less stimulation going to your brain. If you're playing soft music or you have earplugs in, less sensory information coming to your brain, so you're disconnecting from your environment. If you can sit your body down and tell it to stay like an animal, stay right here. I'm going to feed you when we're done. You can get up and check your emails, you can do all your texts, but right now, you're going to sit there and obey me. So then, when you do that properly, and you're not eating anything or smelling anything or tasting anything, you're not up experiencing and feeling anything, you would have to agree with me that you're being defined by a thought, right? So when the body wants to go back to its emotional past, and you become aware that your attention is on that emotion, and where you place your attention is where you place your energy, you're siphoning your energy out of the present moment into the past, and you become aware of that, and you settle your body back down in the present moment, because it's saying, well, it's 8 o'clock, you normally get upset because you're in traffic around this time, and here you are sitting, and we're used to feeling anger, and you're off schedule. Oh, it's 11 o'clock, and you usually check your emails and judge everybody. Well, the body's looking for that predictable chemical state. Every time you become aware that you're doing that, and your body is craving those emotions, and you settle it back down into the present moment, you're telling the body it's no longer the mind, that you're the mind, and now your will is getting greater than the program. And if you keep doing this over and over again, just like training a stallion or a dog, it's just going to say, I'm going to sit. And the moment that happens, the body's no longer the mind, when it finally surrenders, there's a liberation of energy. We go from particle to wave, from matter to energy, and we free ourselves from the chains of those emotions that keep us in the familiar past. And we've seen this thousands of times. In fact, we can actually predict it now on a brain scan.
Your brain is a memory bank. It's a record of everything you've learned and experienced to this moment. We could say that your brain is a record or an artifact of the past. So most people, when they wake up in the morning and they start their day, a brand new day where there's so many different possibilities, the first thing they do is they get their brain working and they start activating circuits in their brain that are connected to memories of the past. So they think about the problems in their life, and those problems are connected to certain people and certain things and certain times and places. And every one of those problems then has an emotion associated with them. So if thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of your body, and how you think and how you feel creates a state of being, if you're living by familiar and same thoughts and you're feeling the same emotions, and emotions are a record of the past, we could say that most people wake up in the morning and their entire state of being is in the past, in the familiar past. Now, every thought has a frequency. Every thought produces an energy. So we could say then, from a quantum perspective, you're thinking the same known thoughts the majority of the time that are producing the same frequencies. So then the same frequency is the same energy, and your life shouldn't change. And the only way your life can change is to change your energy. And nobody changes until they change their energy.
Most people then, they have that vision of the future, but they give up on that vision because in order for them to arrive at that vision, they have to do something. They have to think differently. They have to act differently. They have to feel differently. And it's so much easier to make the same choice every single day. And the hardest part about change is not making the same choice as you did the day before. And the moment you decide to make a different choice, you're going to feel uncomfortable because you're stepping from the known into the unknown. So some people would rather cling to their self-pity than take a chance and possibility. They'd rather tell the story of their past instead of telling the story of their future. They'd rather believe in their past instead of believe in their future. It's so much more important, though, to romance your future instead of romance your past. And I think if people understood that they could actually arrive at it, I think many people have done this already in their life. I think everybody, at least once in their life, has done something great. And when they did something great, they just made up their mind. And they made a decision in that moment to do something or to change with such firm intention that the amplitude of energy in making that choice caused their body to respond to their mind, that the choice that they were making to change became a moment in time that they would never forget. And the stronger the emotion they felt in order to change, the more they remembered the choice. And we could say then that they're giving their body a taste of the future emotionally, and they're literally aligning to that destiny. We discovered that if you keep doing that every day, somehow you'll arrive at that destiny, and your biology will literally begin to change to look like you're living in a different life.
To change, then, is to be greater than your environment, to be greater than the conditions in your world, and the environment is that seductive. So then, why is meditation the tool? Well, let's sit down, let's close our eyes, let's disconnect from your outer environment. So if you're seeing less things, there's less stimulation going to your brain. If you're playing soft music or you have earplugs in, less sensory information coming to your brain, so you're disconnecting from your environment. If you can sit your body down and tell it to stay like an animal, stay right here. I'm going to feed you when we're done. You can get up and check your emails, you can do all your texts, but right now, you're going to sit there and obey me. So then, when you do that properly, and you're not eating anything or smelling anything or tasting anything, you're not up experiencing and feeling anything, you would have to agree with me that you're being defined by a thought, right? So when the body wants to go back to its emotional past, and you become aware that your attention is on that emotion, and where you place your attention is where you place your energy, you're siphoning your energy out of the present moment into the past, and you become aware of that. And you settle your body back down in the present moment, because it's saying, well, it's 8 o'clock. You normally get upset because you're in traffic around this time. And here you are sitting, and we're used to feeling anger, and you're off schedule. Oh, it's 11 o'clock, and you usually check your emails and judge everybody. Well, the body's looking for that predictable chemical state. Every time you become aware that you're doing that, and your body is craving those emotions, and you settle it back down into the present moment, you're telling the body, it's no longer the mind, that you're the mind, and now your will is getting greater than the program. And if you keep doing this over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, just like training a stallion or a dog, it's just going to say, I'm going to sit. And the moment that happens, when the body's no longer the mind, when it finally surrenders, there's a liberation of energy. We go from particle to wave, from matter to energy, and we free ourselves from the chains of those emotions that keep us in the familiar past. And we've seen this thousands of times. In fact, we can actually predict it now on a brain scan. But if you start understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it, and the stronger the emotion you feel, the more you're going to pay attention to the picture in your mind. You begin to remember your future. You are branding that circuitry in your brain, and now you're emotionally conditioning your body into the future. Now, here's the side effect of that. If you can do that properly and become familiar with those states of mind and body, and you get up feeling like your future has already happened, I guarantee you're going to stop looking for it. The work is to be able to maintain that modified state of mind and body your entire day. You got to be able to sustain that state independent of your coworkers, independent of your boss, independent of your ex, independent of your finances, independent of the traffic. And if you're able to do that, you will begin to see the feedback in your life. If you woke up every morning and you truly made time to think like this: if my personality creates my personal reality, and my personality is made of how I think, how I act, and how I feel. If I want to create a new personal reality, a new life, I'm going to have to change my personality. And most people try to create a new reality, a new personal reality, as the same personality, and it doesn't work. We literally have to become someone else. So if you said, okay, let me not default and go unconscious to that 95% of who I am that's programmed. Let me become so conscious of the way I think. Let me become so aware of how I'm going to act today. Let me decide what emotions keep me connected to my past and bring me to a lower level of energy. Let me not go unconscious. If a belief is just a thought I keep thinking over and over again, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain? And with attention and with intention, to begin to familiarize yourself with a new way of thinking. Meditation means to become familiar with. If you keep firing and wiring those circuits, you're going to begin to install the hardware. Repeat it enough times and it becomes a software program. That could be the new voice in your head that says, I can, it is possible. People, when they have an event, what they do is they keep recalling the event, because the emotions of stress hormones, the survival emotions, are saying, pay attention to what happened, because you want to be prepared if it happens again. Turns out most people spend 70% of their life living in survival and living in stress. So they're always anticipating the worst case scenario based on a past experience. And they're literally, out of the infinite potentials in the quantum field, they're selecting the worst possible outcome, and they're beginning to emotionally embrace it with fear. And they're conditioning their body into a state of fear. Do that enough times, body has a panic attack without you. You can't even predict it because it's programmed subconsciously. So then you say to the person, why are you this way? And they'll say, I am this way because of this event that happened to me 15 or 20 years ago. And what that means from a biological standpoint is that they haven't been able to change since that event. So then the emotions from the experience tend to give the body and the brain a rush of energy. So people become addicted to the rush of those emotions, and they use the problems and conditions in their life to reaffirm their limitation, so at least they can feel something. So now when it comes time to change, you say to the person, why are you this way? Well, every time they recall the event, they're producing the same chemistry in their brain and body as if the event is occurring, firing and wiring the same circuits and sending the same emotional signature to the body. Well, what's the relevance behind that? Well, your body is the unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between the experience that's creating the emotion and the emotion that you're creating by thought alone. So the body's believing it's living in the same past experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And so then when those emotions influence certain thoughts, and they do, and then those thoughts create the same emotions, and those same emotions influence the same thoughts, now the entire person's state of being is in the past. So then the hardest part about change is not making the same choices you did the day before, period. And the moment you decide to make a different choice, get ready, because it's going to feel uncomfortable.
Take a deep breath in, hold it, and slowly exhale. As you breathe, feel yourself settling into this moment as if time itself is slowing down. Right now, in this sacred space, you are stepping into a new reality, one where you are free from stress, free from control, free from the weight of the past. The power to create your life lies not in forcing, not in worrying, but in surrendering to the infinite intelligence of the universe. The greatest transformations occur when you let go. When you release resistance, you create space for the quantum field to respond. When you stop grasping, you allow life to flow effortlessly toward you. So today we will enter that space of surrender where you let go of doubt, fear, and control, and instead step into the infinite field of possibilities. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And release slowly through your mouth. With every breath, feel your body becoming lighter, as if the weight of your thoughts is dissolving. Imagine a soft wave of energy washing over you, releasing tension from your head, your shoulders, your chest, your arms, all the way down to your toes. As you inhale, breathe in trust. As you exhale, let go of control. Inhale, feel expansion. Exhale, feel release. Now shift your focus to your heart. Place your hands gently over your chest. Feel your heart beating, steady and strong. This is your center, the gateway between your mind and the infinite field of energy. As you breathe, imagine your heart opening like a radiant flower unfolding into pure light. You are safe, you are supported, and you are ready to surrender. Now imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast golden river. This river is flowing effortlessly, carrying everything in its path. Take a moment to notice what you have been holding on to. Is it fear, doubt, the need to control an outcome? Whatever it is, visualize placing it into the river. Watch as the current gently carries it away. You are no longer holding on. You are free. See yourself stepping into the river, feeling the gentle flow guiding you. There is no need to swim, no need to struggle. The current knows where to take you. You are supported. You are guided. Surrender to this flow and feel how light you become when you release the need to control. Now, as you float in this golden river, allow your mind to expand beyond your body. Imagine yourself merging with the infinite field of energy that surrounds you. The universe is vast, intelligent, and limitless, and so are you. Trust in this moment. Trust in yourself. Everything is unfolding perfectly. Repeat these words silently or aloud, allowing them to penetrate deep into your subconscious mind. I let go and I trust the flow of life. I surrender my worries and step into the unknown with confidence. The universe is working in my favor, even when I cannot see it. I release control and allow miracles to unfold. I am safe, I am supported, I am free. My heart is open, my mind is clear, my soul is at peace. The moment I let go, I make space for infinite possibilities. I trust in the divine timing of my life. I let go of all resistance and welcome peace. The more I release, the more I receive. I am in harmony with the universe. My heart is open to infinite possibilities. I allow my life to unfold naturally. I surrender my doubts and embrace certainty. Every breath I take fills me with trust. I let go of stress and embrace ease. The universe always supports me. I release fear and welcome love. My past does not define me, I am free. Letting go brings me joy and freedom. I trust that everything is happening for my highest good. I surrender to the wisdom of the universe. I am safe in the flow of life. I choose to release and let go. The more I relax, the more abundance flows to me. I trust myself and my decisions. I embrace the unknown with confidence. I let go of expectations and allow life to surprise me. My energy flows effortlessly. I surrender to the infinite intelligence within me. I allow all things to unfold in divine order. I let go of attachments and trust the process. I am open to receiving miracles. I release judgment and embrace understanding. Everything I need comes to me at the perfect time. I am in sync with the rhythm of the universe. surrender my need for control and find peace. I allow myself to rest and trust. I am free from worry and full of faith. My mind is calm and my heart is open. I trust the universe to bring me the right experiences. I release all tension from my body and mind. I am exactly where I need to be. I let go of what no longer serves me. The energy of the universe flows through me effortlessly. I allow joy to enter my life. I release all fears about the future. I let go of overthinking and embrace clarity. I am in tune with my highest self. I embrace the unfolding journey of my life. Surrendering allows me to access my true power. I welcome abundance and opportunity with an open heart. I let go of limiting beliefs and step into my greatness. I surrender to the wisdom of my inner being. Every day I trust life a little more. I let go and I am free. Now gently bring your awareness back to your body. Feel the weight of your presence grounded and whole. Wiggle your fingers, move your toes, and when you are ready, open your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. And as you exhale, smile softly, knowing that you have surrendered to something greater than yourself. You have let go, and in doing so, you have made space for the extraordinary to enter your life. Carry this feeling with you throughout your day. Walk with trust, speak with certainty, and act with a knowing that everything you desire is already on its way to you. You are limitless. You are free.
If you teach a person how to find the present moment, that's where the unknown exists. That takes a lot of energy and a lot of awareness. And yet, if you practice it, the body literally will begin to respond to the mind. And that takes an enormous amount of energy and an enormous amount of awareness to stop the program. If you keep becoming so conscious of your unconscious states, you're outside the program. Focus on space. Focus on nothing. The act of doing that actually starts slowing down the analytical mind, and it starts to change the person's brainwaves. How many times do we have to forget until we stop forgetting and start remembering? That's called change. How many times do we have to go unconscious to the point where we no longer go unconscious and we stay conscious? That's the moment of change. Now, if you're truly out of the bleachers and you're on the playing field, and this happens to a lot of people in our work, they say, you know, I really believe that this is the truth. I really believe that you could heal yourself. I really believe you could change your life. I've seen the testimonials. I just never believed that it could happen to me. Now, this is a big moment. Now you're really stepping on the playing field. So a person who starts doing their work, they're not interested in healing. The person who's truly interested in this work, they understand that the only way they can heal is that they have to change. They're not saying, I'm going to wait for my wealth or my healing to happen in order for me to feel grateful and be joyful in life. They're saying, if I feel grateful, my healing's going to begin, right? If I feel more whole, then there should be some change in my gene expression. So they've studied the content, they've studied the information, and now it becomes extremely practical. So they may have a great meditation, and we've seen this happen to many people. They sleep better, they have less pain, they have more energy, but their blood values never change. Now, they don't say, oh, I feel better, but I'm failing, this doesn't work. They say, what is it about me that's stopping this from completely healing? Okay, how am I in my waking day? The moment you begin to ask that question, you turn on the frontal lobe, and the frontal lobe is the seat of your conscience. Now, the moment you start looking at the end of your day, how did I do? This is such an important question. How did I do today? Did I fall from grace? When did I lose it? And who did I lose it with? If I had another opportunity, how would I do it differently? They'll tell you, I've seen them stand on the stage and tell their story and say, I had to start really watching myself in my life. How I was emotionally responding to my ex, how I was emotionally responding to my financial problems. I had to really, really pay attention to that. And that takes an enormous amount of energy and an enormous amount of awareness to stop the program, right? So you forget and you go, damn, I went unconscious there. Now, you didn't lose, you didn't fail. You just became conscious. Now, if you keep becoming so conscious of your unconscious states, you're outside the program. You're only in the program when you're unconscious. The moment you're conscious, you can objectify your subjective self. So you can see yourself through the eyes of someone else. So the learning process comes from the mistake. The brain learns by mistakes and surprises. I've made enough of them in my life. It's just whether you're going to do it again. You want to do it again, you're back in the habit, back in the routine. If you say, this is it, the next time that happens, I am not going to do that. Not for anybody else, but because those emotions actually, my response to that person or that circumstance is actually weakening the organism. Is that person, that circumstance worth it? So then it's evolution. It's evolution. The challenge then has to be met with a greater level of mind. Now, if you're just doing your meditation just because you want to please God or do the right thing or feel good about yourself, that's going to get stale after a while because it's just going to become another routine between your coffee and your shower and your emails and your drive to work, and people aren't present, right? The familiar past conditioning is based on the past, that thought and the feeling, but habituation is the programming them to predictable future. That's the known. So if you teach a person how to find the present moment, that's where the unknown exists. That takes a lot of energy and a lot of awareness. And yet, if you practice it, the body literally will begin to respond to the mind. It's like training an animal. It finally relaxes. And when that occurs, your response to people and circumstances in your life will be different because you overcame yourself at the beginning of the day. I get up really early. Why? Because nobody bothers me. I get in my think box. But I'm not going to sit down and just jump into a meditation. What thoughts before I go into this meditation am I going to stay away from?
well, what circumstances, what things I can think about later that aren't that important to me? What emotions, what memories am I going to stay away from? If I go there, I know what that's going to do. Why am I doing this meditation? What am I going to be doing? How am I going to do it? So I, just like anybody who does anything really well, you get in your think box and you organize what you're going to do.
Are you doing this in bed, or are you having coffee first? Or?
I just get up, move around a little bit, do a few things, maybe write some notes down, because then I can assign meaning to the act. I can stay conscious when I'm in it.
So you do all this before your meditation? Okay.
Always. But then when I get in my play box, there's no thinking. I did all my thinking in my think box. But let's say I have 10 Zoom meetings. I look at my calendar and I go, okay, none of that, I'm going to get to all of that. This is not my time to think about the known. I know all this stuff is going to work out. I know how the Zoom meetings are going to go. Okay, but let me just make sure when I'm in these certain Zoom meetings that I'm leading with my heart and I'm being the person that I want to be as an example for my team. I want to make sure I'm communicating really clearly. I'll make time for this, that. Okay, I get all that out of the way. Well, that's all the known stuff. But when I come to execute now, well, what am I going to do to open my heart today? Like, what am I really going to do? When I do the breath to bring energy into my brain, what am I bringing? Like, where am I going to go to that? What do I want to experience? How do I do that? Let me just review that. Okay, then I'm going to open my focus. I'm going to go deep into nothing. I'm going to go as far as I can. And then when I get to that point, then I'm going to create. And when I create, this is what I'm going to create. So I'm not thinking in when I'm there, what should I create? I've already got that all worked out. I'm rehearsing. I'm getting clear on what I'm going to do. I'm getting clear on what I'm not going to do. I'm getting clear on how my last meditation was and how I want to evolve my next meditation. So then when I get to my play box, I'm not analyzing and thinking, because if I'm analyzing and thinking, I can't do it, right? So I get that worked out. If it takes me half an hour, I allow for 2 hours for myself. If it takes me half an hour to get very clear, and then sometimes there's disturbing things that I have to get through because there's meetings and stuff like that. But I just go, that is all always going to work out. This is you. This is your time. When the brain is incoherent, we're incoherent. And so think about when you're stressed. The most common thing that people do is they over-focus. They narrow their focus on whatever it is that's driving them to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And so then the act of paying attention to the problem is actually driving the brain further out of balance. And we've studied this. When you analyze that problem, that circumstance, that condition within the emotion that you are feeling and derived by the hormones of stress, you'll make your brain worse 100% of the time, because the analysis, the over-analysis, is driving it further into a higher thinking, higher beta brainwave state. So this kind of narrow focus is what causes the brain to be a house divided against itself. So we thought, well, why don't we do the opposite? Why, instead of narrowing our focus on the cause, something physical, something material, because the hormones of stress actually heighten the senses and cause us to become materialists. So matter is the issue when there's survival. It's whatever's around the corner. It's whatever's going to happen. So we said, okay, let's teach people something else. Let's teach them how to broaden their focus. Mm-hmm. And as they broaden their focus and take their attention off of everything material and everything known and focus on space, focus on nothing, the act of doing that actually starts slowing down the analytical mind. You can't analyze when you're sensing. And it starts to change the person's brainwaves into a slower brainwave pattern.
Right.
And so now as you start slowing your brainwaves from that high beta, you start slowing down, you're shifting gears, you go into a mid-range beta, then you go into a low-level beta, and then all of a sudden you get into alpha. Now, alpha, when you're in alpha, the voice in your head, the critic in your mind goes away. That voice that's talking to you stops, and the brain tends to see in images, in pictures. That's the imaginary state. That's a creative state. And in alpha, when you're out of survival, you're looking for answers, you're creative, you're looking for new ways of doing things. So when they broaden their focus, not only do they move into alpha, but all of a sudden we start seeing those different compartments of the brain that were once subdivided.
Yeah.
All of a sudden starting to unify. Different communities of neurons that were fragmented start to synchronize.
And that's what you call coherence.
Right. So what syncs in the brain links in the brain. So when you see the front of the brain talking to the back of the brain, the right side of the brain talking to the left side of the brain, you start knowing something good is starting to happen and the person is starting to create more order. So when you see those psychic union of two hemispheres coming together, the polarity, that person starts to feel incredibly whole. And coherence, when you have waves that are coherent, when they build or interfere with each other, their waves get bigger. And the higher the amplitude of the wave, the higher the energy in the brain. All of a sudden, the person starts to become very relaxed and no longer stressed in a program. and kind of alert and awake. At the same time, when you're resentful or frustrated or impatient and you're sitting in traffic, the same hormones are released and your heart is actually beating like there's a tiger behind you, but you can't run, you can't fight, you can't hide, and the traffic is frustrating you even more. You're releasing more of those chemicals, so the heart starts beating against the closed system. And when that happens, the heart starts beating out of order. Now, the heart's incoherent. So when incoherent waves interfere with each other, they're out of order, they diminish energy, and the brain energy leaves the heart. And this is when we stop trusting. This is not a time to communicate. This is not a time to learn. This is not a time to be creative. And energy leaves the heart. So we discovered then when a person truly starts practicing those elevated emotions, the heart gets very orderly, very coherent as well. And now, when you start feeling the emotions of the things that you want in your life or that you would like to create in your life ahead of the actual experience, it's impossible for you to want it. Why could you possibly want it if you feel like it's already happened? Now, here's the cool part. Maintain that modified state of being. Get so good at doing it with your eyes closed. Start practicing with your eyes open. And if you can maintain that modified state of mind and body,